Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast, the cusp of the 1,000-year door. We are less than 1 week away from peak gaming. Donnie, how are you feeling?
I'm actually very excited. It's been a fun week for me. I'm thinking about taking a day off. I'm thinking about I might try to take Wednesday off and see if I can get Hellblade done like that day. Just do the whole thing that day. You know, they said it's a short game. Just go right through it, go right into the podcast, and then free up my weekend to play 1,000-Year Door, I think is the plan.
Did that came out this week or is coming out this week?
Comes out Wednesday or Tuesday, maybe. The 21st? Tuesday.
See, that I feel like is flying very under the radar. Like, I feel like this was such a big thing when it was announced, and I didn't even know it was releasing this week.
Yeah,
the first game was really big, yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be all the trend right now. I'm not sure if you saw any of my... No, this is a Nintendo show. We don't get me started on getting upset about Hellblade, but I've been complaining all the time because they've not made anything for the game. You can't buy a physical copy, you can't buy controllers on a console wrap, there's nothing. Now, mind you, this is a company that made a chocolate controller for Willy Wonka. They made a controller out of chocolate. They've made Ninja Turtle controllers, and there's like a LeBron controller. They have like 400,000 controllers, but they have made nothing for the game that they marketed the console with. I hope it's amazing. I think it's going to be amazing, but I can't escape the dread that it feels like Xbox is just like sending this thing out to die, you know? And I'm just waiting for them to come back at some point and be like, well, you know, nobody played it, nobody bought it. And it's like, yeah, because you didn't tell anybody they could.
What is going on over there? Like, I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
The first game was so hype. Like, I feel like this was such a big thing.
You would think it is after a decade of complaining about not having a, emotionally narrative, type of games, a sort of game. Like, this game feels like it's tailor-made for them and what they don't have. And it seems like they want to talk about anything but this.
But I hope the game is good. That doesn't mean it's going to be a failure. I think that the fans of the first game are probably following it, and we'll get it. So I hope that you enjoy your Wednesday chore gaming day.
If I can get off, I think I will. But yeah, I'm stoked, and I'm trying to. There is a part of me like, let's get it out of the way first. That way, I'm not trying to juggle it and 1,000-Year Door, and then I can just kind of focus on 1,000-Year Door. That's the plan as of today. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. I like that. You take a day off to like get done the games you want to get done.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And we have elections on Tuesday, so I'll be working like all day Tuesday anyway. So I think I can probably get that day off and not be too big of a deal.
Knock on wood, there's no meltdowns that cause you to be there like super late into Wednesday. Oh boy. Yeah. I've been playing a game that comes out on Tuesday, actually. I'm playing Paper Trail. Have you heard of that one?
No, that's a brand new one.
I think this was in one of the indie directs that they had. It's really creative. It's coming out on Switch and everywhere else. I'm playing it on Steam, but I think the Switch is a really good place to play it because the touchscreen is utilized in a really good way. In this one, it's like, so the main character's name is Paige. It's kind of funny because the whole time you're like folding paper. It's a really pretty visual environment, like lots of kind of watercolory looks, and each scene takes place like on a literal page, and you can fold the sides over or fold the corners over, and it kind of changes the landscape of it. So it's basically a puzzle game where you're trying to like fold it in certain ways to like get across bridges or to help people get to safety. With me, with my puzzle brain, like some of them are kind of tough for me just because like spatially I don't really know, like, oh well, I know that there's a bridge on the back that needs to be folded. How can I fold that? Because there's so many options. Like you can fold it halfway, you can fold it quarter way, you can fold it like.
I was going to ask, is this like the fourth grader like future telling game they used to play where you'd like lift
A
and
little
pull?
bit, yeah, a little
Yeah.
bit. It's kind of reminds me of like some origami, the way that it's like kind of folded very precisely to do certain things. But it's pretty fun visually. It's pretty nice. I think I played it for a couple hours so far, and I'm like a few worlds in, so like you probably can get about maybe 10, 12 hours out of it, like if you're really good at the puzzles and you all the way through. But it's really pretty. And if you like puzzle games, this is a pretty unique one.
Nice. You still on your little kitty adventure?
Yeah, I didn't beat it yet. I kind of dropped off of it because I wanted to stream the end of it. I think I'm nearing the end of it though. It's a fun game. I recommend that one. I kind of want to like go for 100% and get all of the like hats and get all the achievements and stuff.
Sure.
That's a fun little game.
I played it with my wife.
Yeah, what'd she think?
It's always a humbling experience when you play video games with somebody that has never played video games. She liked it.
She was stuck a little bit. She didn't know what to do.
She liked it. Annabelle liked it. She did the same thing during Stray. Annabelle kept going up to the TV and trying to touch the cat and stuff. She got stuck on literally anything at all. Like there were so many times she was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. And I would, she'd hand me the controller because she would try. Like she would try to figure it out. And I would be like, hey, give me the controller. And she's like, no, I'm going to do it. Okay. And then I would get the controller and like kind of look around and be like, oh, you need to jump up to the like the side of the wall. And then you can walk around the wall and get past the water.
Stuff that's natural for us to figure out because we have like, I feel like there's this thing, like there's gaming literacy. Like you have different levels of gaming literacy where like people like you and I like never play the game, never play the genre, whatever. You go in and like you can figure out what to do.
There are tropes that we've learned over the years that they have no idea of.
Yeah.
And especially I find this often when you take somebody that's never played games and you put them in a 3D space.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're struggling controlling two sticks at one time. They're struggling with the point of view, and they're supposed to be noticing these environmental cues that we just take for granted, that we mindlessly just like run to and adapt to and jump over and go under, And one of them, like she got up there and it took her 3 or 4 times to actually walk along the ledge to get past it. She kept falling down and having to run back around. And then she got up there and she got to like the gardener, I think, like there was a guy in the yard and she was doing that. And she was like, I don't know what to do. She's like, I've jumped on everything and I've looked at everything. And I wasn't paying any attention. I was playing my own game. So she hands me the controller and I look for a moment and I just turn around and like in the alley that like you're on the wall in the alley, I just saw like a hole in the wall. So I just jumped down and she was like, are you serious? She's like, you just it's like, it's right there.
Yeah.
So,
I think the game does like a good job of teaching you certain things, but I feel like it wants you to figure things out and like explore and like, it's hard when it gives you a little bit of direction, but with like a sandboxy game like that, like it does want you to experiment and try to, try things without it telling you exactly what to do. And that can be hard for people that don't know.
Yeah. That's why when I usually look for games for us to either play together, for her to play, for her to try, like even Animal Crossing was kind of a big deal for her. Cause I was like, she's never played anything with like systems. Usually it's like very flat 2D simple games, Peggle platformers. Like the Mario sports games are actually really great for her because they are very simple and straightforward, right? She doesn't have to figure out a lot of things. She likes Mario Golf and Mario Tennis and Wii Sports and stuff like that, like Clubhouse 51 games.
Yeah.
Like Stray, she loved watching me play Stray. She wanted to sit there and figure it, like she wanted to talk to me while I did it. And this is where I think things like Twitch, there might be like an application for like folks that don't game but like want to follow along with games. I've run into a few people that have talked to me about Last of Us. They found out about my Last of Us affinity and they've told me, I've never played the games, but I watched somebody play the game. Because they don't want to play the game, but they want to see like what it's about and stuff.
That's why Let's Plays on YouTube are so popular because people just want to watch somebody play the game with like little nonsense, not a lot of stopping, not a lot of like, extra things, just watching the whole game straight through.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like a movie.
So, I would guess, I don't think she's going to play it again. She hasn't asked me to play it.
Yeah.
I haven't brought it back up to it with her.
But she enjoyed her time with it generally.
Yeah. She enjoyed that one session. I don't think she'll come back to it. Because she, she just doesn't really play games a whole lot. We played Rock Band, and then she's still on her Animal Crossing grind. Like she's still doing that. I keep showing her pictures of what other people do with their islands. Like I showed her a picture of this person that made like a Taylor Swift island.
Oh. And
it blew her mind. She was like, I didn't know you could do all of this. So
yeah. Yeah, I feel like for people like that, games that have familiar types of rules, like you said, Clubhouse, that's a video game, but it's rules that she is already familiar with. Things like Rock Band, she is familiar with.
And when we play Rock Band together, she just sings, and she's a singer.
Oh yeah, well there you go.
Yeah, so she's like, this is great, and then she loves to like taunt me. She's like, my score's higher than yours. I'm like, yeah, you're not doing anything.
Yes, she is. She's singing.
Of course, it's higher. All you're doing is going like that's it.
Yeah.
Switch controllers. I can do the same thing you can do. So
okay.
Yeah.
I spent some money this weekend, Donnie. I bought, so I had been on the hunt for a nice CRT TV, like a box TV.
Oh.
And so people online gave me the advice because I was searching on Facebook Marketplace and I was making the mistake of searching for, did I say this last week or a couple weeks ago? I was making the mistake of searching for CRT TV on Facebook Marketplace. And naturally all the ones listed as that were expensive, and I had a budget. So then I got the advice to search for old TV or box TV, or tube TV.
Or so you gotta look up brands. I'd look up Sanyo, Sony, the Trinitron is legendary and all of that. Yeah, you gotta look up stuff like that.
Yeah, so I did that. I typed in old TV and I
did
found
old TV. Not old TV. No.
Seriously, I did.
Old TV.
There was this woman selling one for $40, and
that's a lot.
Donnie, it's not a lot. It's really not. It's
that's
not
a lot
because
for old
it's
TV.
It's 30 inches.
That's
it's way bigger than I thought. Well, that was the cheapest one. It really
that I'm sure of.
I got a good deal on it.
I will tell you, it's very look. I haven't bought an old TV in a long time. I may be out of the market.
You are.
What I would have told you to do very first, I would have told you to go to Goodwill and see if there are any on the shelf.
They're not. There's not ever.
Really?
Really.
Wow.
These get snatched up when it's a good price.
I have one in the closet. I've always had one.
Yeah,
I've kept one since the kids were little. I have two of them actually. I have a Sanyo that has a built-in VHS, and I have a Trinitron that's under the stairs over there that I.
You could probably sell it for $60, $70, $80. If not,
but why would you for $60? I'm not gonna.
I know you wouldn't. I know.
But I bought them. at Goodwill. I think for $5.
Yeah.
But it was
that's
several. It was several years ago.
Yeah, they're getting harder to find.
10 years ago, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know if maybe it's just a trend right now that they're more expensive. But I've been on the hunt for a while, and that was a really good price for where I am.
Maybe they are trending. What got you into this? Did you see a TikTok or something? Because the CRT has been a popular thing for retro enthusiasts for a long time.
That's why I plugged in Ocarina of Time. I plugged in my N64. I'm going to plug in my Super Nintendo. And I just feel it's genuinely the best way to play those games. It just looks so much nicer. And I was trying to explain that to my dad, and he was looking at the side-by-side comparisons of the CRT filter and how it is just looking on a modern screen. And he's like, the modern one looks better. I'm like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't look better. He's like, the other one looks blurry. I'm like, yeah, it's meant to look blurred together.
That's what it originally looks like. Yeah. I mean,
that's how it was designed.
Yeah. So I've got my 64, right? And I've got the HDMI and everything. And it's very vibrant, almost too saturated. Right. And it does stretch things a bit. It's totally fine and playable, but I would argue that I think it's better on a CRT. And for a long time here at PSVG, my CRT was actually right here. It was right off to the screen right here. I had it wired onto my desk, and I've moved it for my PC, my PC tower is what replaced it. But for a long time, my 64 was hooked up right here. I would sit at my desk and I would play 64, and I wouldn't play on my TV. on my flat screen TV. But I'm with you. I think this is a worthwhile investment, Rebecca, especially if you're into playing, like actually sit down and play some of the old stuff.
Yeah, thank you. My parents thought I was very silly. Chat brings up a good point too. There's no input lag really with CRTs. It's
true,
instantaneous.
It's very nostalgic.
It was like I said, it was bigger than I originally thought and heavier than I originally thought. And so shout out to my dad for helping transport it into his truck and then into my home. It took 3 people to get it into his truck.
Shout out Papa Bex. 3 people.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, to get it out of the lady. It's this old elderly woman, and so her daughter was there. And so me and my dad and
I have
daughter.
I've carried every CRT TV by myself.
Dude, it's like 100 pounds. Like, and it's huge. It's so big.
I gotta see a picture. Is this like one of the ones that come?
Go
in like
on Twitter. Go on Twitter. No. Go on Twitter and look. And it has because it has a huge back. Like, you know how it like extends.
I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, I'm aware of what a CRTV is.
Oh my god!
I know, Rebecca.
Listen. Anyway, I'm gonna have to move it into a different spot in my house because I can't do it by myself.
Let's see here. This is fascinating audio for the listeners. Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah, you should just be able to like.
I mean, me and my dad carried it from his truck into my house, but like at the elderly woman's house, like we had to carry it like downstairs.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, this is a pretty good size. This is
thank you. It's 32 inches.
Yeah, mine isn't this big. Mine's got to be like 24 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like no, the Sony one though, I haven't pulled that out.
And it's Toshiba, which is a good brand.
That Sony one is probably pretty big. Maybe 30. Maybe this big. I don't know. It is set under the stairs. So I have a closet under the stairs in the basement, and it's like just where it's like storage. It's like where I just retire stuff. My sauna is in front of the door. So like nothing ever comes or goes out of there for like years at a time.
My goal, I have like a stand that's next to my bed. Josh Jepson, if you're listening, this is what you're going to help me do. I'm going to move the stand. Do you see that blank space right there?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to put it on the stand, so that little gap there, that's ultimately where I want it to be. I originally wanted
retro corner.
Yeah, I originally wanted to put it on my dresser, but it's way too wide, like
sticks out.
Yeah, it sticks out like because of the back.
You'd have to pull the dresser away from the wall.
Yeah, which no, forget that. So I'm gonna do a little right there.
Yeah, get yourself a little beanbag. Go back to 1998.
That would be cool. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny that everything you're describing is how my kid's gaming room was set up like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
At our first apartment, we had like this little nook, like this little dining nook there was like a little kitchen area, but we never used it. So we set up like a little gaming corner. And then when we moved here, Victoria originally had the basement, like all of the space that you've seen me in forever. This was actually Victoria's room. Had her own bathroom, had her own walk-in closet. Like we were going to put her here and let her grow up through all of her teenage years, like having her own little basement studio apartment. And then like the first month that we lived here, she really couldn't stand like sleeping on a different floor from the rest of us. Yeah, she got super scared and freaked out, didn't like it. But during that month, upstairs where her bedroom is now was my office and like where I had gaming stuff. And we had the CRTV in the corner on a little bookcase with a 64 and a GameCube and a couple bean bags in front of it. And like, yeah, my kids have known that their entire lives until maybe like 2015.
Yeah.
And we kind of took it all down.
I don't know. I was all about the like, yay, I'm playing Diddy Kong Racing on my Steam Deck, but like it's kind of not as good.
It's not the same. That's what I was trying to say. I wasn't trying to rain on your parade. It's just not this, especially for me.
Maybe
and I
I'm
said
just
this a bunch.
Moment.
For me specifically, it is the 64. Like I don't like playing 64 games on ROMs, on tablets. I'm totally down with emulation. Right. I'll play PSP. I'll play Super Nintendo stuff on phones and tablets. Like that's great. The 64, man, it isn't the same. It's not as good. I need the original controller. I need it to play it like on an original TV. Like I need the original experience. I need the hardware. Like otherwise, it just kind of falls away. Speaking of controller, Rebecca, I bought that damn controller.
You did.
I did. They finally got me. Finally, I was never like even all that interested or anything. And then I come across a damn YouTube video that's like, did you know you can use N64 controller on PC? It just connects Bluetooth. I was like, what? No, nice. I did not know that.
Nice. Love that.
So I got it, and I plan on playing at some point the Ocarina of Time PC port.
Oh, yeah. I've been hearing about that.
Yeah, me too. So I bought that, and because I was there and I had a coupon, I bought the Super Nintendo one too. I was like, why not? I needed to get free shipping, and I got that Zelda keychain that they were giving away.
Oh, yeah. I got that the first time that they did it. They're like one that it glows. It's like the hand or something.
Yeah. So it's funny that you're getting the CRTV and setting all this stuff up, and here I am buying this damn controller. Can't believe they got me either. I was going to buy them. Like I went to eBay. eBay, they're like $70, $80.
What?
You can even buy like a used one, and on the Nintendo shop, they're like $50. They're like cheaper there. So I was like,
yeah, okay. I have one. I was
like, I'll just get this instead then.
That's what I use for playing my Super Nintendo games online.
I might play Super Mario.
You should.
I might.
You should. I recommend it. That's not the only thing I bought this weekend, Donnie.
Oh.
You're gonna laugh at the other one. If you laughed at the CRT, you're gonna laugh at this one. While I was on Facebook Marketplace searching for TVs, I came across an item that you don't see every day. Somebody was selling the CDI game Zelda Wand of Gamelon for like half of the price of what it normally goes for online. So I bought that, and I'm really happy about it. And when I pulled up and like was doing the exchange, the guy was like, do you even have like a Philips CDI? I was like, no, but I'm a Zelda collector. He's like, oh, okay.
No. I'm not going to make fun of it because you bought Hyrule Warriors.
My friend does. Okay. My friend has a Philips CDI.
I've only seen
when I hang out with her.
I've only seen bits and clips of what that's like, and it truly looks awful. Like so terribly bad.
It's bad. I have played some of it. It is not known for being a good game. But if you go into it knowing like that it's gonna not be great and like you know what you're expecting, it's kind of fun.
I mean, I like bad movies for the same reason, so I get it.
Yeah, I can't play it, but I just want it for the collection.
For whatever reason, when I see Zelda like that, I'm like, no, not like this. Not like this.
It's for the Zelda collection, okay? And like I could not pass it up. It was a very good price. Can I say? Am I allowed to say?
Yeah, I don't care.
It was $150.
That's a good price for the CDI?
Yes. Wow. When it comes in the case, it's normally like $250 to $300.
Wow. Good get then. Goodbye.
Yeah. It was like good condition. Like the CD is not like scratched up at all. It has like the little, booklet inside of it.
Sure. Yeah, it's complete.
Yeah.
Complete in box.
Yep.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. And then I don't know if you can see it right there, but my Sea of Stars collector's edition came. It looks like it's in like a SNES replica box. Nice. Lots of really good, goodies in there. I still have to take a picture and post, but shout out to Yarden. It's the Kickstarter backer thing. And he did it for me and for Garrett. So
wow,
we both got those. It was really nice.
Good guy. Good guy, Mr. Yarden.
Yeah.
Your shelf is filling up.
I know. What am I going to do with all this stuff?
More shelves.
I'm like just like starting to pile it up here.
Yeah, I know.
And like that's getting full.
More shelves.
I don't have room for more shelves. I don't even have room for the damn rooms. TV I bought.
Other rooms.
I don't have other rooms. I live in a less than 1,000 square foot apartment.
You got a living room, right? That's another room.
You don't understand that this is my bedroom that you see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are other rooms. You have other rooms in the house. Who needs a dining room?
Get rid of the table. I don't have a dining room.
There you go. Okay. You don't need a living room. You have the couch. Just take all the other stuff down. More shelves.
Take what down? There's nothing to take down. Oh geez, that's why I'm like trying to sell some stuff too that I don't need, but like I don't want to.
Yeah. You can purge.
Anyway,
mill the collection. Stuff comes in. Sean has been selling off his stuff, and he's got like a bunch of these 3DSs that he never opened. I think he said he sold like the Majora one for like $1,000. Like he's making a bunch of money.
What?
Yeah, he's making real money out there. So he's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that is all that I have bought and played. I mean, I've been playing some other stuff, but Paper Trail, the dev sent me a code. That's why I've been able to play it. Like I said, It comes out on Tuesday. Really visually nice. If you guys look up the screenshots, it's very good.
How's the when is that Zelda dungeon thing come out? You're working with those devs too, right?
Yeah, the early access starts on May 29th, so that's coming up too.
Very cool.
The end of the month. I don't know how I'm gonna have time to juggle all of this. I have too many games to play.
Right?
Too many indies, which is good.
Games come out all the time.
I know. Does not slow down for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else before we jump into the news?
No, let's do it. We don't have that much news.
I know.
Game Boy got Super Mario Land, Baseball, and Alleyway on Nintendo Switch Online. This Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. I've never played Super Mario Land. Should I play it? Anybody? Chat? Like, I'm not particularly all that interested in playing old Game Boy stuff. So
if you had put a gun to my head and told me to answer is Super Mario Land on Nintendo Switch Online before this, I would have said yes, and I would have died.
Yeah. No, I probably would have too. I don't keep up. I don't really keep up with Game Boys and stuff like that.
They're saying it's rough, does not hold up.
That's generally like how I feel about like early GameCube. Like that's could almost be said for the platform overall. But I know people love it, and I don't mean to. I do mean to make fun of it. That's just me. Midori, everybody's favorite leaker. I feel like I've read this person's name, this account's name, for like 6 straight weeks. They could just keep dropping a rumor and a rumor and a rumor. So they tweeted that Nintendo had a project in the works called Yu King O. And then on Reddit and Reset Era and the tweet, people responded because Breath of the Wild's original code name was Yu King. And Nintendo typically does this with their DX games, their deluxe editions and all that, is that they will add like a -O or a -S or something on the back. And they've been doing it for 10 years. They did it with like Kirby and Captain Toad and all kinds of stuff. So that has led the internet to speculate as to what this means. And it looks like Nintendo is preparing a full price re-release of Breath of the Wild. Doesn't mean they wouldn't let us upgrade to it, but history tells us that they won't. There's no evidence to support that they will.
I don't see that they will. I don't see
So Rebecca, they're going to sell us all these games again, even though they're backwards, even though the system will be backwards compatible. If you want to pay the best version of Breath of the Wild,
might even be $70.
Okay. I'm really torn here because one, I'm a hypocrite and I'm totally going to buy it. So let me just get that out of the damn way from the start. I think
you can end the sentence. I think you can end the statement there because that's what they know we're going to do, and that's why they will do it.
But I'm not going to do this for every game. Zelda's different. Zelda gets a pass. I'm not going to do this for every game. Are they thinking we're going to do this for? Are they going to try to resell us Mario Odyssey?
No, I don't think they'll do. I think they'll do it for Breath of the Wild. Eventually, maybe down the road, Tears of the Kingdom. Smash with all the DLC, Mario Kart with all the DLC, and then never give us another Mario.
I wouldn't buy any of those. Like, it's just Breath of the Wild.
They'll do it for Smash. They'll do it for Smash and Breath of the Wild.
I wouldn't rebuy Smash. I have all of that on my Switch, and if it's backwards compatible, I'm not going to do that. I wouldn't do it for Kart. I don't see them doing it for Mario. Is there any hope that they try to do Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom as like a double pack? No, there's not. Is there? I hate this, Rebecca. I really don't like when they do this. I don't like. It's a bad business practice, and they shouldn't do it. And I want to say that, but I am going to buy it. There's a part of me. Is it bad
business practice if it works and it sells?
No,
that's
it's a good. Well, I mean, look, you've got all the people, everybody.
It's not consumer friendly, but it's good business.
There you go. That's the better way of putting it. Because I was going to say that like people trounce other companies for being anti-consumer all the time.
No, Nintendo is very anti-consumer.
So like honestly, the question that I want to ask is, do you think we'll have upgraded versions at all that are like paid, or will it be like if the developer wants to patch the old game for free, they can, or you can re-release the game? Because I was really hoping for Switch 2 that we would get some patches for a lot of old, like, honestly, even outside of like, not even thinking first party, but like I'm thinking like all the Ubisoft games, like the Batman games, like these games are kind of too big to run on Switch, like Witcher. It runs on Switch. They made it work.
But that doesn't mean you should.
But for Switch 2, it's like, okay, guys, we can get it to 1080p now. Like you can lift it up a bit, right? Like I'm really hoping that the back catalog gets that kind of uplift. But if Nintendo's like, yeah, we're just going to sell you the old games, now I'm questioning, like, will it?
So here's how I think it plays out. I think that, for third parties like, Ubisoft, all those other ones, they will say, yeah, you can put out a patch if you would like to. Otherwise, we're bringing our storefront to the Switch, put out updates as you see necessary. For Nintendo games, the storefront will come over, you'll be able to buy Breath of the Wild off of the eShop, but I do see them doing deluxe versions as well. For some of them, not for all of them. They're not going to put out patches.
I'm wondering, yeah, I think you're right. I think developers will have the option to patch their game if they want for free, or re-release the game. I don't now I'm questioning whether or not Nintendo will come up with a way to sell paid patches like PlayStation did. I was really thinking that they would just take that PlayStation approach, and maybe they will. I hope they will.
I think if they do, it will be for, a very select few games, and they'll say, and more will be on the way. And then a year will go by and we'll be like, where are the rest of them? And then they might do one in like 4 years. I was really
excited that you buy Switch 2 and then my entire Switch library just plays better. Like the day that I get it, everything is just better. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's not the case. Maybe everything will just kind of be the same unless you rebuy the games, and that sucks.
Yeah.
It's Mario versus Rabbids, right? Like that game could use a boost. Bayonetta 3 could use a boost. There's a lot of games that I would revisit and replay if they got, a slight bump.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these games aren't even 720. Like to run them and stuff, they're 5. They are blurry as hell. Like it is bad. I would like to see them updated. So anyway, we will see. I will buy Breath of the Wild. I'm really kind of excited to go back to Breath of the Wild. I've been having this this juice has been in my bones for some time, and like 4K 60 Breath. This might be the first game I play on new hardware. It's just Breath of the Wild again, and there is like a repeating history nostalgia thing. I think that's there too. That's a part of it. It's like this is how I want to break in a new Switch, doing the same thing I did the first time I broke in the new Switch.
Yeah,
but 60 frames a second, Breath of the Wild sounds amazing.
Gotta pay for it.
Yeah, and I will. 5 years later, Nintendo and the original plaintiffs have asked the Joy-Con drift lawsuit to be dismissed. So a judge will dismiss it very shortly.
What a waste of time.
Yeah, and money. Tears of the Kingdom Nintendo Switch Online icons have come back to mark the anniversary of the game's release last year.
Who cares when you can get the Link to the Past icons right now before they go away?
Shots fired. This is basically the state of the news this week is when we talk about icon. That like the news isn't all that great. The Splatfest is kicked off on Friday, right?
I've been playing a lot of it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Good
the map is fun this time. Yeah.
Are you still on team same old?
Yes. What would you do at the end of the world? Same old bucket list or save the world? So how halfway, like Saturday night, they say who's in the lead at halftime.
Yeah.
Bucket list is in the lead so far.
Nice.
There's like I don't know if you're tuned in at all to the Splatoon ongoing stuff. You're probably not, but the Splatfest, there's like a kind of ongoing joke that Fry's team never wins. She hasn't won since like maybe the second or third Splatfest.
Really?
So it's like going to be a big deal when she wins again because it's been like a year.
I love Splatoon's meta, like its own little the fans it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I did see this story. Walmart and Amazon have canceled physical pre-orders of Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door. Walmart states that it will only be offered in store.
What's that all about?
I don't know. I've seen Wario's been tweeting about it all week. I don't know if it's like widespread or if it's store by store. I would assume that it's allocation based. There are other people who have been trying to suggest that it's like they're prepping for a new system or them. I don't think I think that's like you're jumping for a conspiracy there. I would assume that it has more to do with production and shipping than anything else. I don't think Nintendo's going digital or pulling games for Switch 2. I don't think anything like that's happening. I just think maybe they'd I don't know. Maybe shipments didn't come through. Maybe there's delays. Maybe they just didn't get enough boxes to enough stores. Maybe it's selling better than they thought. Maybe they've
They just don't have enough.
And the other thing is I was trying to think because like my store wasn't one of them. Like because I checked like the brick and mortar website and my store had physical copies.
Okay. Well, yeah, in store they do. They're just saying that they're not offering it online. Like you can't go to walmart.com and order it and get it shipped to your house.
And that makes me think that maybe because there's another thing that kind of ties into this. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Where did you see that like Nintendo and Amazon have stopped? Like you can no longer buy like eShop cards or gift cards on Amazon.
I think you had mentioned that.
Yeah, so like maybe there is something that Nintendo's doing, like, but I don't think so. They don't have to be connected. I don't necessarily think they are, but
okay.
This one's interesting. I don't know. Bears monitoring. Maybe if they announce some new games, we can see if this keeps happening.
Yeah, if it's like a one-off thing, or if that's going to be the new norm.
Maybe I wonder if Walmart's having some issues with like people pre-ordering and then like returning or anything like that.
Why would Amazon do it?
Thing. Yeah. There's a rumor that the Deku Lego set is coming this September for $300. So you can get the Deku tree for $300 if you're that into Legos.
That's a lot of money, but so are Legos. That's on the norm for Legos.
I thought you were going to go, I ordered one.
No. My dad really likes doing the Lego sets. He did the NES Lego set for me. Yeah. He did all these ones. I was really disappointed in the Animal Crossing set that came out. I had like big hopes for that. I was very excited. And then when they revealed it, like it wasn't really what I wanted or expected or thought it was going to be. So I hope that this one will
This
be
leaked.
Good.
I saw
it. Really? Is
yeah,
it
this
good?
thing has been rumored for a long. No, I was very unimpressed.
For $300 and it's not good?
I wasn't very excited with it. So I was like, I'm not paying for that. Because the thing, and it is almost like it's in comparison, because when it was rumored that we were getting a Zelda Lego set, like everybody kept doing like the Temple of Time and stuff. And I was like, yeah, this is amazing. I got to get one. And then for them just to come out with the Deku tree, I was like, oh, this is lame. When
I Google it, there's like lots of mock-ups that come up, so I don't know what is real.
Hang on, let me see if I can pull it up. And maybe I was looking at a mock-up, but I don't think so. I mean, we talked about this.
Like there's like so many different versions.
The one that I'm thinking, it was the Blossom Tree. What is the Tears of the Kingdom one? Right?
Oh, I see. I think the one. It says, if this leak is real, I will definitely be getting it day one.
It's like the Reddit. Pink one with the Koroks and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not buying that.
Yeah. I don't know. So, we'll have to see.
I was like, yeah, it's a bummer. And then
I think the Ocarina of Time Deku tree is so much more iconic.
I agree with you. And Wind Waker for that as well. And the thing is, you look at what they're doing with like Lord of the Rings, and it's insane. Star
Wars.
The Lord of the Rings Lego sets are incredible. Like I so bad want to buy the Rivendell Lego set. It's like $600, and I'm like, but it's kind of worth it.
If it looked like that, I would pay for $300 for it.
Probably would too, and that's ultimately
that set that you just showed me does not look like that's like maybe like
it looks like a kid's
$70
toy.
or $80.
It looks like a kid's toy, like a little play set or something. I don't want that. That's
like how the Animal Crossing ones are. Like it's cute, but not like what I wanted.
The Rivendell one is like you put in a shelf to show off in your house forever because it's like incredible. And they just had like the Spire of Mordor and stuff like it.
Hyrule's like, well, I'm getting it. Did you see you got to go on Twitter on his Twitter account and see what he posted for the Tears of the Kingdom anniversary, all his merch. It's like
Oh, well, tag us in it.
a
If you tag
dream.
us,
Yeah.
I might retweet it.
It's
And that
so
goes for
good.
anybody.
He has a lot of good stuff.
I only pop into the PSVG and the Shack Twitters maybe like once a day, once every couple days, to either like if we have notifications or if there's like a really good sale or something that I want to share.
Go look at it. I just tagged.
To post questions.
I tagged
But if you
it.
tag us, I'll look at it. If you tag us, I'll look at it.
It's like the biggest collection I've ever seen.
Okay. I don't know what the Carnegie Mellon one is. So this looks like it's
This
close
is
to
silly.
you.
I added this like last minute. It's just something silly. Carnegie Mellon. Also, shout out to Dr. Garrett Bland Explosion. It's his alma mater. And you should go back because they've opened a new student-taught class that delves into the game design of the Fire Emblem series. It's called Fire Emblem Design and Analysis. They'll be getting underway at Carnegie Mellon this fall. It promises to help students gain a deeper understanding of the game design, mechanics, and writing of the Fire Emblem series. Let me ask you this, Donnie. If you could teach a college-level university class on a video game, what game do you think you would be the professor of? And it can be a series because this is just of all of Fire Emblem.
No, that's a really good question. First, I would like to state that before I answer, I don't think I'm qualified to teach a class on any video game series. And the reason I say that is in doing this for many years, as devout a fan as I think I am, I have always met fans that would like destroy me in any sort of knowledge quiz or test. Like there are some people that take this way more seriously than I ever have. If I had to guess though, I probably would say Gears of War.
What? Really? That I was not expecting that answer.
And the only reason that I say that is there have been times over the years where I've felt smarter than the average Gears of War fan. Like Gears of War 4, I was enthralled with, and it was kind of mediocre. Like ratings wise, it was kind of middling. It was good. I don't want to say mediocre. It was good. It was like, like 80 or whatever, probably. I don't know. I don't remember the scores, but people seemed to be lukewarm on Gears 4. They weren't very impressed with Gears 4. And I was enamored with Gears of War, or Gears of War 4, fixated on it because of the lore. Like what it did to bridge the gap between the Phoenix trilogy of the first three and set up a whole new trilogy of the second, and go back to the Queen Mira and the Locust. Like I was enthralled. When we did a podcast about, I think it was like 3 hours long. I was talking about this damn game. Like I loved it. And I feel like maybe it just went over people's heads. Now, as I say that, there are Gears of War fans that I think that have read like 90 novels and stuff like it that I've never touched. So again, just to put qualifications on it, I don't necessarily think I'm a super fan of anything. The other one I was thinking of, Clock Tower, or maybe like the NCAA football series. Like I think I could probably go toe to toe with most people there.
Okay.
I don't know. What did you think I was going to say, and then what would you say?
I thought you would have said either like Zelda or like the Last of Us or Wind Waker.
The thing that scares me about Zelda is I know Zelda fans.
Yeah.
I have met Zelda Universe. I have met other Zelda fans, and I'm like, no, because they'll be like, hey, don't you remember so and so? I'm like, who? And they're like, that person, that market you ran by in that once. I'm like, no, I don't. I don't remember so and so.
Yeah,
so point, like, yeah, I'd be scared to be like, yeah, I could teach. I mean,
even professors don't know everything. There's students that will bring up things that professors haven't thought about in a long time.
Doesn't necessarily mean expert of. It just means teach.
Yeah.
I could teach a Zelda class. I think I could.
I think you could too.
I could bring the enthusiasm and get people jazzed about Zelda.
Yeah.
What would you do?
I mean, I want to say Zelda, but you're right. Like, I feel like
Yeah, when you meet Zelda fans, you're like, uh-oh.
I can't even, like, I don't have the timeline memorized and stuff like that.
Like,
I feel like that would be important for the course.
You never beat the CDI games blindfolded? Like, no, I didn't. I never wanted to.
Think of like something that I could tie in, like the writing or like, some other type of subject to tie it in, because the Fire Emblem one helps them, understand the game design, mechanics, and writing. Like, I'm trying to think, like, life is strange and mental illness kind of thing. Like,
oh, that's good.
That's the kind of class I would want to teach. Not necessarily all about the game, but what can this game teach us about something else, or what, analyzing the writing,
psychology,
the writing of, The Last of Us, or, something like that.
You ever play Hellblade?
No, but it's on my forever big list. I know. That's another, good mental illness type of game.
Oh, it's great. It's really great.
I know. Play it with headphones.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that'd be good. I like the Life is Strange take. I would take that class.
Yeah.
I would say that. XPS. Are we sure Garrett's not the professor of the Fire Emblem? It is there's coincidences there for sure, right? Like everybody can draw that line.
Yeah, there's a lot of themes that you can explore with Life is Strange, like Kate's mental illness.
Yeah.
Addiction with like drug abuse and stuff like that.
Parenting.
Yeah.
Teenage life, like there's lots of things you can draw from. That's it for the news.
Only a couple more weeks until the direct, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's about a month away at most.
Ish. We hope. I hope they put it in the week of Summer Games Fest.
Just to mix it up a little bit.
I mean, yeah, like it's not Summer Games Fest. Like they've condensed their stuff, right? This year, it's going to be like all kind of in 1 week. So that should make that week more entertaining for that. And I would hope that Nintendo puts their damn thing in the week as opposed to 3 weeks later, like on a random Tuesday.
I think they will want to avoid that week.
Yeah, I know. I think you're right.
Knowing them.
But I wish they would like go back, put it in the week, like go Xbox, go Ubisoft, do yours on Friday, like, get back to the way it used to be. But it's dead and gone. And that's a bummer.
Yeah. Shall we answer some questions?
Yeah.
All right.
Hang on 1 second. We have XBS says a Naughty Dog class and their entire dev work would be amazing. I agree.
That would be cool.
You should watch their documentaries. Not quite like that, but they are kind of like that, and they are kind of amazing.
How their games have changed over time.
They're on YouTube for free, and they do talk about that. Especially like the first one, like Grounded. They talk about The Last of Us. There's lots of mentions, like when they played Crash and stuff, and I think they did with Uncharted. They're kind of more open than most studios, I think. So.
Okay. TPR asks us, once again, TPR is chiming in again as Mr. Green Temple, but this time Paper Mario Noob Edition. Should I jump? Wait, I need to ask, did you add that to his question or did he say that?
No, this is him. Like he wrote this. I
was like, oh no, are we making fun of him without him knowing?
We are, but no, he's very much in the know.
Okay. Should I jump in with the 1,000 Year Door remake or play the OG Paper Mario on NSO first? There is a correct answer, and just do 1,000 Year Door. These
100%.
are not games that you need to play, to understand the other or consecutively or to appreciate them. Forget the OG.
And I am definitely not the professor on the matter. I'm not the subject matter expert, but if my memory serves, and it has been a long time since I played 1,000 Year Door, isn't it a lot more like Paper Mario RPG? It's more like Mario RPG than it is Paper Mario, I think.
Maybe, but this is heralded as like one of the best games of all time.
Like its battle system is very simple. So like, yeah, if you wanted to like, will I like this or not? I would say try Mario RPG for a couple minutes if you don't mind it.
Don't even worry if you're going to like it or not. Just buy the damn game and play it.
I like that too. That's maybe better advice. You just buy 1,000 Year Door. 1,000 Year Door is incredible. It is by far the best of the Paper Marios.
It's going to be better than Super Mario RPG anyways.
That's true. It is better. It's better than that too. Yeah, I agree with you. It's better than that game. It's just the best. It's the best of them. This is the best game of the series. Both counts. It's just the best one.
A lot of people think this is the best Mario game.
That's wrong, but it's still, but it's up there.
But a lot of people say that. A lot of people think it.
That's incorrect, but it's up there. It's a cool hipster take. I like it. It's one I can get behind.
Take. I think a lot of people think it. Similarly, Kyle the Pug wants to know, as someone who has never played the Thousand Year Door, what are some tips for going into the game for the first time? And I am not qualified to answer this because I will also. So y'all know my history with this game. I have it sitting on my shelf. I got it, when it came out on GameCube. As a kid, I played it quite a bit, but I never got very far because I was a child who could barely read and was not savvy on RPGs at the time. And so I feel like I'm going into this almost completely fresh. Like I have a couple memories here or there, but I'm essentially going into it the first time.
That's true. Kyle's right. It is a lot of people's favorite game. I don't mean to throw stones. Okay. My advice is to use there's like power-ups, like badges. So like when you upgrade, when you do your RPG stuff, right, you can put your points into like, I think it's like hearts, badges, and something else. I don't know if it's like defense or like maybe like attack power or something like that. I don't know, like that. But the thing is, the thing that I remember is you want to use badges because they let you do like special attacks, but also there are badges for like better HP and attack power and defense and stuff like that. So you could use badges to like accomplish both. So what I remember playing it is just to use like tons of badges, like as many as you can as possible. And just go into it like very open-minded and just be excited. Like don't look into any spoilers or anything like that. I love Thousand Year Door because of the visuals. Like this is very much from an era where I was like falling in love with video games and like the design. And Thousand Year Door comes to the forefront of my mind. Well, like when, Dev makes fun of me about this a lot. When people I think listeners will listen for a long time. I want to say maybe you, Rebecca, you've seen my style and like these sticker bombs and bright colors, and you have a lot of vibrancy and stuff like that. And these games that I really harp on or chime into, they all kind of have like this colorful through line. I have always said that this comes directly from the GameCube.
Okay.
It's Beautiful Joe.
Yeah.
It's Thousand Year Door. Like this is where I was like, I want every game to look like this forever. Like this is my style. Like just do that. And Thousand Year Door in the new Mario engine, the new Paper Mario engine, should be gorgeous. Like when you get to Twilight Town and you get to Boggly Woods, and like it's going to be gorgeous. So
I'm excited.
Enjoy the aesthetic. Like enjoy that. Kyle says Origami King was nothing like the classics. I'm not really following the chat thing, but Origami King was gorgeous. Also a very beautiful game. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But that would be my thing, is I would harp on badges early and often. Get a lot of badges.
Okay, good. G-Man says, because of the memes that are going around, do you like lemons?
I don't know what this is about.
I knew. As soon as he said that, I was like, I am going to need to explain to Donnie these memes on Twitter because he does not see them. There's a artist trend that's going around where there's like a character who licks a lemon and then they like suck their whole face in because of how sour it is. And it's very cute.
Okay.
I like lemon.
Yeah? Just like raw? Just eat lemon?
No, I don't just eat lemons.
Okay. Well, I'm asking. You said I like lemon.
I do like lemons.
I get it. So what's do you like lemon? Yeah. Yeah.
His real question is, will Paper Luigi's story actually happen? Will we ever get a Paper Luigi? That would be wild.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah, that'd be very good. I'd like Paper Luigi. I mean, I've always wanted Paper Zelda. Paper Zelda game sounds amazing, especially after you play Link Between Worlds. You're like, oh my god, flat Zelda game. It can totally work.
It would be cool if they did, more of their franchises in that paper style. I think that would be popular. Paper Zelda as an RPG. Do like a Paper Kirby. A paper.
Because we had like the Yoshi, kind of.
Paper
World and Crafted World, like they're kind of like that.
Kinda, not really, kinda.
They're crafty spin-offs,
But like do them as RPGs,
Yeah. Yeah. Kyle says Paper Luigi break the internet. My daughter liked lemons as a baby.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. Like as an infant, we would go to restaurants and stuff, and she loved lemons. We would just give her like a bowl of lemons, and she would seriously eat them raw. She would just.
That's unusual.
Mm-hmm. She's a unique A unique cat, my daughter.
Okay, I think we've answered this recently, but I will always talk about it. Indie Techno asks, which Wii U games are musts?
So he just bought a Wii U that he modded, and he asked me this via DM, and I said, can we save it for the show? Because I will always take a moment to shout out my love, my undying affinity for the Wii U.
Yeah.
So I came up with a list. I have a list I can read off. So do you want me to read them, or do you want to say yours first?
I just want to say Nintendo Land. That's all.
Yeah. Very good.
Go ahead. Your turn.
So the Zelda games for sure. Hyrule Warriors, Yoshi's Woolly World, Deus Ex, Batman, Mario Maker. And this shout out to Batman, by the way, and Deus Ex. Great gamepad games. Zombie U, also great gamepad game. NES Remix 1 and 2, Nintendo Land. Xenoblade X, Pikmin. Here's why I say Pikmin. And look, I'm not a Pikmin super fan. I prefer Pikmin on Wii U. Dual screen Pikmin. I like the control style with the stylus and stuff. That was my favorite way to play Pikmin. Mario versus Donkey Kong Tipping Stars, Amiibo Tap, Lego City Undercover, Mario 3D World, and Splinter Cell. Now I wrote, these aren't great games, but they are unique and they're worth playing. Affordable Space Adventures, Call of Duty Black Ops 2, because it's just wild to play Call of Duty on a Wii U. Devil's Third, because it's terrible. Like, it's just this terrible, like, faded, awful game. Wii Sports U, Madden 13, because you could draw plays on the gamepad. So you could see the thing, you could draw your routes and everything. It was pretty neat. Pokemon Rumble, Amiibo Festival, and Rebecca. Did you ever play Spin the Bottle on Wii U?
No, I have not. But I was going to say, it does not matter that you're suggesting terrible games that are kind of a little bit fun, because if you modded it, you're not paying for any of these.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. Spin the Bottle was a game that I did not remember. He asked me this question, and I was like, let me think here. And I Googled it, and I played Spin the Bottle. And the thing that I remember about this game more than anything else is it actively encouraged you to turn your television off. It was played almost completely on the gamepad.
Interesting.
And it, like, you would use like the motion controls in your, it's honestly, it's kind of like, it's not all that different than like a 1-2 switch. You would you would like spin the bottle on the thing, and it would ask you to do like dumb little things that you would use motion controls and your Wiimotes and stuff to do. And it was meant to be played like around a group of people. Like, you get a group of people in circle and you play the game, and it's unique to that system. I don't think you can pull it off on a different system. And that's what I was kind of going for.
Why don't you just get a real bottle and spin it?
Well, yeah, but it wasn't like, suck each other's necks, like that wasn't the game.
Okay, fair.
But you could. Yeah.
Josh the Hyrule Laureate shouts out, don't people leave it out, but don't but Star Fox Zero was actually a masterpiece. If you
not
get
a masterpiece.
Controls, it's legit better than Star Fox 64. That's a big opinion.
No, it's not. Yeah, no, I can't agree with you there. Now, I will tell you is the Star Fox Guard, like this Five Nights at Freddy's monitor, the security system and thing, that was kind of novel. There's something there. Not great, but at least different and new. I love Star Fox for maybe the first 30 minutes, and then it just definitely starts to fall off there towards the end. Yeah. And Yarden says, I appreciate this podcast. Continued dedication to the Nintendo Land is good bit. It's not a bit. It's an incredible game.
Not a bit. I love that game so much.
It's amazing.
Worth getting a Wii U for.
It really is. I agree with you.
Like, if you get a Wii U and only that game, it's a good investment.
Totally fair. Yeah, just get that game and you will have great fun at family get-togethers for years to come, for sure.
Another party game, if you're trying to play with people who are not gamers, Game and Wario is pretty fun. Particularly, yes. I like the Pictionary game that they have on there, where like you draw on the gamepad, it shows up on the TV, and people guess it, and you tap. Like, everybody takes a picture of their face, and then you tap like who gets it, who gets.
There was also I want to say it's Wii Party U.
I've heard of that one, but I didn't play it.
I think those kind of very similar. Actually,
that was one of the ones that they gave away for free.
Oh yeah,
for the digital deluxe program.
DDP.
Yep.
Rest in peace.
Yep. Canadian Cruller asks, so many ports, remakes, or remasters get HD Remastered, Deluxe, or DX added to the names. But then you got games like Paper Mario or Super Mario RPG that didn't add anything. Should there be a general rule to adding them, which could also help distinguish if it's a port, remake, or remaster? Because he's right. Those are not ports. Neither of them are. They are remakes or remasters. And that he brings up a good point, because you got Pikmin 3 Deluxe, you got Mario Kart DX, you got, Skyward Sword HD. What's the deal, Nintendo? I don't have an answer, to be honest. They do whatever they want to do.
I think it does bring up a good point. The games overall, they do this for years. There's definitive editions and Game of the Year editions, and people do puns on the words and more mastered and stuff. I guess maybe they don't think it matters all that much. That'd be my guess. But yeah, maybe some standardization could be helpful, especially as we get more and more of these. But have you ever found it to be confusing? I've never found it to be confusing.
No, but we're in the know for things.
Sure. Good point. And I think for a lot of those people, they don't even know that ports are ports. No. For a lot of people, they don't even know that 1,000 Year Door is a port of a GameCube game. They just know it's a new Mario game.
There's just no, I feel like people want a pattern, a rhyme or reason, specific rules, this gets the title HD, this gets the title remaster, but there's no rhyme or reason. Yeah. I agree with you there. I just don't think, I don't want to say they don't care as much, but there's probably reasons for it. It might be valuation. They may not want to put remake or remaster or something on it. They may want you to feel like it's a new game, a brand new game. And why do it for Metroid Prime Remastered? But that was also $40, right? Yeah. And I'm wondering if there's something there where they're like, well, we'll use the language for this one because, maybe. Yeah. I wonder if maybe there's just some pattern to it that we haven't figured out. There might be. Okay. D. Johnson says, any interest in going to Nintendo World? One is opening in Orlando next year. Yeah, some interest. When I see them and stuff, I'm like, that looks fun. I would like to do it. Am I interested to the point that I want to take time off, pay money, get a hotel room, go to the park, be there with millions of people? Kind of no. It's the big giant amusement park's not really my scene. It's not really my thing. But generally, I think it's interesting. I look at YouTube videos and stuff. I think it looks fun. Yeah, I do have interest, but you're right. Unless there was some circumstance where a bunch of my friends were going and it I already had time off from work, it was over the summer and I didn't have to spend a lot of money, and it was already, it would have to be an extremely specific circumstance that I will actually go. I'm not actively planning a trip. I'm just an introvert. I don't really when I go to places, I usually like to go to isolated places. Yeah. My daughter actually made fun of me this morning. She's going to a birthday party, and she made this remark that she's always telling other people's moms to be friends with her mom, my wife, because my wife was the party is at brunch. Sorry, I know that I want to tell you the story, but you're not going to understand if I don't give some backstory. Okay. So Victoria's going to a party this morning at brunch. My wife complains, I want to go to brunch, but she's not Victoria's plus one. So Victoria clapped back. Well, you need to get friends and go to brunch. You're there's lots of moms that get together and go to brunch. So then she's like, yeah, but it's expensive and I don't want to do that. And she's like, yeah, I tell all of my friends' moms to be friends with you. Aww. I was like, damn, that's mean. Aww. And then she hit me with, she's like, they don't even know who you are. She's like, all of my friends all the time are like, I've never seen your dad. I'm like, that's by design. They assume that she has a single mom. I was like, that's by design. That means the plan is working. Oh. And you just see this look. I was like, and then I hit her with this. I was like, maybe they've seen me, but I just look so hip and young that they just assume I'm supposed to be there. And then I couldn't possibly be your dad. And she was like, yep, that's it, Dad. She was so annoyed, but she just left. Yeah. When I was picking up that TV yesterday with my dad, at the very end, the elderly woman was like, it's nice to have a grandpa that can help you around when you need it. I was like, yeah. And my dad doesn't look super old, but like I think I don't look 30, so like naturally like he would probably look like my grandpa in certain
sure.
situations, like if I'm dressed as, dressed down, which I was.
I got hit. Did I tell the story? Did I tell the story of my interns?
No.
So I've got some interns that are working for me at Georgia Tech, and they got these programming students, and they signed them to me, and I went to go meet them like 2 weeks ago. It was our first time meeting in person. We've had a couple Zoom calls and stuff, and we're just going over like this code, and they're asking me questions, and everything, and they go, "How long have you been doing this?" And I was like, "Oh, since about 2008, 2009," and they were like, "Wow, that was a long time." I was like, "How dare you?"
That's probably around when they were born.
This may be the first time in my life that I've had that like ma'am lady moment. My wife talks about it all the time when somebody like refers to her as lady or ma'am, how old she feels. And maybe the first time, damn, interns were like, "That was a long time ago." I was like, "No, it wasn't. It wasn't a long time ago."
Have you gotten hit yet with the, you were born in the 1900s?
No, I have not. I've seen the TikToks, but nobody's ever hit me with the 1900s. Disrespectful.
I had to explain to a couple of my students today, because they on the morning announcements we do a joke of the day, and so the kid was reading the joke. It was like having something to do with pirates on the phone, and the punchline had to do with like putting it back on the hook, and they were like, "I don't get it." And so I had to explain to them like putting the phone on the hook, like why we say you hang up the phone when you're done talking.
Yeah,
and they were like, "Whoa."
There's some really great TikToks and stuff like that. People that give their kids like cassette players or like rollover phones, and like they try to like, "Hey, can you make a call? Like, can you do like, how does this work?" And like watching kids try to figure out how to insert a cassette into a cassette player. It's like,
there's no reason why they would know it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
But like explain to them your phone used to be in the kitchen. You had to be tethered to the kitchen so that everybody would hear your conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
I never forget the dread. I called my wife at the time when we were in high school, boyfriend and girlfriend, and I called her, and I used to call all the time. And one time her mom picked up the phone, but it sounded like her, and I was like, "What's up, babe?" And her mom was not having it.
Or you would listen in because the phone in the other room, and you could listen to the phone call that was happening.
Yeah, you'd laugh. She was like, "First off, I am not your babe."
I remember I would do that too. I would like, if my mom was on the phone in the other room, and I would go to like one of the other rooms and pick up the phone and try to listen.
It's amazing like how easy it was to have multiple people talking on the call.
Yeah.
Like you could just pick up the line and have 3 or 4 people talking.
Yeah.
Like how hard is that to do now with the phones we have? You have to like conference and bridge everybody in.
Yeah.
Or like get on Discord.
Let's see, John 32. If you could choose to grow up in a different gaming era with all the nostalgia that comes with it, either new or old, what would you choose and why? Very easy answer for me. I wish I was born in like the mid 80s and grew up like in the late 80s and 90s.
So you were actively choosing Delvin's life.
Yeah.
You want NES and all that. You want to live through Atari.
Well,
because this is a terrible answer. This is
not just for gaming. If it was like just gaming, then like maybe like born early 90s.
Okay.
So but like for everything, I would want to be born in like the mid to late 80s.
I was definitely thinking just gaming.
Okay, and just gaming, then like 1991 would be perfect.
So my answer is I don't think I would choose differently. I don't. I was not yet old enough or had access to the early 90s stuff until later on, which isn't my favorite stuff. It's not because I didn't grow up with it. It just
What year were you born?
87.
Okay.
Right. So like the NES and all that stuff was like late 80s to early 90s, and you had Super Nintendo and stuff. I really started to come like of age around that PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64 era, that realm. And Super Nintendo is still around, right? Like people still had those systems for a long time because we weren't buying games and systems. It wasn't as disposable then as it is now. Like you didn't just throw it in the trash and move on. People kept Super Nintendos around forever. So like I had a Super Nintendo before I had the other things because they were cheap. They're on pawn shops and stuff like that. But I really came of age in terms of like I was playing like the latest stuff that was coming out, like that tail end of 64 into that GameCube and definitely that Wii generation, which I think for me is not my favorite because of nostalgia about it. For me, I thought it was the most exciting. I don't know. Maybe I think it's the most exciting because I was there. In hindsight, when I look back on it, I still think it's the most exciting time is to me that Wii 360 PS3 time.
Yeah.
There were so many people doing so many different things and so much tech coming on like in its infancy. It was growing so fast. Like games, when the Wii launched, games still were like very niche and not like widely, like not everybody was a gamer and stuff. Like it was a
nerdy thing. It used to be like a nerd activity.
And the E3 things were still like very indie and like low production, and it wasn't a big pop. It wasn't a media event that like the world of technology took on. Like it wasn't as so corporate and polished as it was now, right? And there was like a lot of invention and a lot of novel things that like breaking through, and there's a lot of trial and error, and it was a lot of fun. Like it was just generally excitement to see. Like it felt like you were seeing technology that hadn't been like, you know, everything was just kind of mind-blowing. The first time I saw Kinect, I was like, oh my God, like, look at this thing.
See, that's why my answer is like, just like maybe 5, 6, 7 years before when I was actually born. So that like, cause like, I don't remember, like I experienced all of it. You know, I experienced playing the N64 for the first time when that was like the current console, but I don't remember being like, whoa, because I was still so young and like, you don't form as many like long-term memories. You know, so I feel like if I had been like 10 when I had booted up the N64 for the first time, I would have remembered
where I was.
exactly how I felt. Yeah.
Yep. That's exactly where I was. I was 10. Puts me in 1997. That's right where I was. And
yeah, I was 3.
I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't trade it to go earlier because I don't need more NES, and I wouldn't trade it to go later because I would hate to lose or miss it. I just feel like for me, I felt like I grew up with gaming. Like as gaming like really grew up, like I felt like I was I've been here on that ride.
I was right after that. And then I Can't See brings up, you know, more than just gaming for me. Like if I was, you know, mid 80s or so, like, you know, then I could have gone to like,
you would hit the grunge era.
Yeah, like that music.
You would have been earlier than me because like I was like 4 and 5 when grunge.
I know, I wouldn't have been going to like a Nirvana concert or anything, but like, you know, I would have been like I would want to be like a teenager. Like I wouldn't want to be like in middle school and high school in the 90s.
Like, yeah, if you think about all that stuff, I would go way like music wise, put me 19 in like 1975.
Yeah.
You know, and I want to see like Zeppelin and the Beatles and Fleetwood Mac and all of that stuff. The Doobie Brothers and Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
Like, let me go back then. But gaming wise, I don't think I would. If anything, the only thing that I would change is I wish I had more money when I was a child to have more access to all of it. You know, I wish I didn't have to like trade it all in for the next thing. I wish I could have kept it all.
Yeah.
But yeah, generally speaking, really, it's been a really fun ride. Like it didn't really get like going like GameCube. Like PS2 was such a trounce. The GameCube just kind of felt like it was like doing its own thing, kind of like the Wii U. But then that Wii 360, PlayStation 3, it felt like that generation, every one of them hit. They were all doing something. They were all doing something different. And like I ended up having everything. I played The Last of Us. I played Resistance. I played Ratchet and Clank. I played Gears of War. I played Fable. I played Wii Sports. I played Zelda. Like I played everything because they were all delivering. Like the competition was at like the height of its game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like every E3 was just like announcement after announcement after announcement. And it felt like we kind of had that going into the PlayStation 4 and then it fell off. And we've honestly we've never gotten back there quite yet. I don't know if we ever will. I don't think so. I don't think it'll ever be like that again.
I don't think so.
Mm-mm.
To add on to John's question, he says, extra food for thought, is ignorance bliss for these kids today? Is there inherent value in being present in the gaming journey over the last 40 years?
That's a deep question. I really like it.
I think yes, but not really in the way that he like is maybe thinking that I'm saying yes about. Like, honestly, the majority of kids today are playing slop video games.
Mhm.
They're all on Roblox. When I see them on, their computers on free time, they're playing these like really knockoff AI type clicky games. They don't really know what good is because there's so much out there. So I think that, the fact that we've been on that gaming journey does put us in perspective that like we didn't have as many choices. So like we kind of know what is the best quality wise.
Yeah, my take is going to be largely based off like what I believe macro factors are, and then my own personal experience with Jack. But we talked about this in the Discord a little bit last night. Somebody brought up a video that was claiming, like the long short of it was, somebody was upset that the new Assassin's Creed Shadows game, I guess, has microtransactions or something, which, that happens every time any game has microtransactions. And Dev got on his soapbox, and we've done this on our show a lot. Dev was like, we've got to stop calling people anti-consumer every time they try to make a buck. Like games are really hard to make, and it takes a lot of people to do it, and they're expensive.
So what
Dev and I has been saying on PSVG for years is that gaming has always been expensive. This isn't like, the cheap little hobby that you get into. Like if you want to play video games at like the highest performance on the latest hardware, it's expensive. It costs hundreds of dollars to get in. And here is where I would say the ignorance is bliss is maybe a downgrade or, and I hate to say, because I don't want to sound like an old man, but gaming to like my son, and I want to dare say his friends, is so disposable and available that it's like on their phone. They don't pay for it.
That's what
they
I mean.
move
Yeah.
on and they just like click off of it. Like they're not interested in buying a $500 box and a $70 game. And it worries me because generationally, as we shift out and stop paying for this, like we're such a cash cow for these companies. Like they have entire business models, and they start to shift in as the primary spending demographic.
Mm-hmm.
Like you wonder, what does that do for game? Like, and the scary part is not even so much what does that do, what has already been done, right? What is already happening to appease that, where we have Warzone and Fortnite, and it seems like everybody just wants to make more of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, and I realize that I am projecting my desires on other people. So if you're listening to this, you disagree, know that I know that. You don't have to agree with me. But for me, I am not like the multiplayer person. I am not the loop-based gamer. I'm not going to go just fight my friends on Fortnite endlessly. Like I'm not interested in that. I want narrative-driven experiences. I want games that have start and an end. I want to experience stories and worlds that I couldn't. I want to escape into things. And I definitely feel like we have a lot of choices now, but it seems like less publishers want to create them or find them financially viable today as they were, say, 10 years ago. 10 years ago, everybody wanted to make one of those. And now it's like, I'm not saying they don't happen. They just aren't happening at the same clip that they used to. And I'm wondering if 10 years from now, they're not happening at all.
Yeah, I think that's exactly how I feel, but I think you put it into much better words.
Yeah.
Just like seeing, because I work with elementary kids, so I see it happening all the time. And
you ever wonder, like, Nintendo does a pretty good job still, but like they're not doing as good as they used to, and the other companies are doing way worse. But like when you were in elementary school, it was Zelda, it was Mario, you were on, Sonic, you were on console.
Mm-hmm.
And now I feel like a lot of young kids' introduction to gaming is their phone. It is Roblox. I'm like like
Roblox. It's so popular.
Reaching them for these other systems, like these other, like you almost wonder, like, do these companies need to branch out into like attack mobile a little harder, just to be there, just to get their stuff in front of, just for the awareness, almost like it'd be a good idea for Nintendo to release a Zelda game on mobile just to make sure the brand is there.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Like all of my kids have Nintendo Switches, but like they have it for Fortnite or they have it for like 1 or 2 games, and why
All
would
of
their
Jack's
parent
friends are
buy
the
them
same.
$60 games when they can, have them sit on Roblox or, play free games like Fortnite?
All of
They don't
Jack's
really
friends are
know
the
what
same.
else is out there.
When they come here and they see like my basement, my walls, my shelf, they ask me like, who's that? And
Yeah.
what is this? And who's Link? And, they don't know because it's not really in their wheelhouse. Now I'm happy like with Jack as he grows up. He's like, right now Jack's playing Ghost of Tsushima on his Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Jack's 13.
See, because you have that to show him, though. If you were not a gamer, do you think that any other parent is having them play Ghost of Tsushima?
No, probably not.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Deep questions.
Yeah. Jay, oh no, I'm sorry. Hold on. I skipped one. GamerCheck says, what is your most anticipated game that does not have a release date for the Switch 1 or 2? So a game that we know exists that doesn't have a release date? I think there's only one. Metroid Prime 4? Unless we're talking about like any type of game, like Plucky Squire.
I think Plucky Squire would be mine. Yeah. There's nothing else that I think has been announced I'm winning on more than Plucky Squire, including Metroid Prime. So that'd be my answer.
Same. Jay says, do you think Nintendo could use the Switch 1, our regular Switches, as a Bluetooth controller for the Switch 2 to allow for Wii U and DS games to be played? I love this idea of having it being used as a controller because
that is the most Nintendo shit.
It really is, because you used to be able to use the 3DS as a controller on your Wii U.
I don't know how possible it is for true Wii U dual screen gaming, but probably is. So like the Wii U's gamepad streaming was low latency Wi-Fi connection. You had to be within a certain range. And then like the motion controls are just gyros and stuff. All of that should be available in the Switch.
I think it's also insane if it did happen, because what a huge entry point to be able to play Wii U games. You have to have 2 consoles.
True. And also like a great way of not letting people like just trade in and get rid of their old hardware.
Yeah, that would be actually insane. Like
that, I would be so excited.
So much
I would be I would lose my mind, Rebecca. I will never ever come off the cliff. I will never stand down on the hill. That Zelda dual screen gaming is peak. It's the peak way
I
to
know.
play that entire series.
You're so right.
3DS and Wii U, I can play without it, but I always feel like something's lacking.
Yeah.
So I've never even thought of that.
Good question. Kate says, when do you think we'll see the next new Zelda release? Tears of the Kingdom took 6 years to come out. Are we looking at 2028 or longer? So we're not talking about like a remake or remaster or anything like that.
Yeah, I think
it is so important to me that they break this up a little bit and they have a smaller team work on a top-down Zelda or a more traditional Zelda to hold us over until the next big grand open world, whatever. Because 6 years and they use the same kind of infrastructure that they use for Breath of the Wild, that's too long. If we're having something that's brand new, it's going to be longer than 2028. If they're coming up with a brand new big open world that's going to surpass Tears of the Kingdom.
I think you're right.
So I'm fine with that. If they have another team or another company work on a top-down, give that to Grezzo, have, another smaller Nintendo studio do a more traditional, shorter, smaller Zelda title.
When's the last time Grezzo did anything? I feel like we haven't heard from them in forever.
I know.
Are they still around?
Yeah, they're working on a stupid mobile game.
That's not good. I agree with you, and I think that's probably, I would bet that's what's happening. I bet there is a team working on it.
I hope so. I'm so afraid that they're never going to go back to like a
Their
traditional
teams-
style Zelda.
I love the mystery about Nintendo and their EA teams, but as I understand it, they just work on a bunch of different projects and they kind of like will mix and match and cross over. So I'm sure they have probably 2 or 3 Zelda things that are in the works at any given time.
I hope
They probably have a remake that's being developed. They probably have a 2D thing that's being developed. They probably have some sort of weird spin-off that you can't even imagine yet that's being like tinkered with. And then the actual big Zelda team, you know, we saw the director, I don't know, not Onuma, but the new guy that probably will succeed Onuma soon. He talked about his ideas for the next Zelda game, and he already has something in the works. So I'm sure it's probably in pre-production. But yeah, that big 3D landmark Zelda game might come in like towards the tail end of the Switch 2's life cycle.
It just makes me like really depressed because Zelda is my favorite all-time franchise like ever. And I don't get me wrong, I really love Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but if that's like all that we're going to get for the future of Zelda, like
it's not. Now, I will tell you,
the way they talk it is.
I mean, Onuma said that, yeah, the big budget mainline Zelda series is open world. Like, according to Onuma, they're doing that. That's what Zelda is now. Like, you're not going to go back to Skyward Sword. You know, I don't think that's going to happen again. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to get 2D Zeldas and spin-off Zeldas.
Well, that's what I mean.
Zeldas.
That's why I'm depressed. We're never going to get another type of Twilight Princess. We're never going to get another type of Skyward Sword. We're never get another type of like anything like traditional like that. And we're never get another type of Wind Waker.
Yeah.
That's depressing to me.
Well, hang on. I'll push back a little. The reason that I think they're going like open world Zelda is Wind Waker was open world. So was Ocarina. Like for its day. Those were open world games. Right?
I don't even mean open world. Like, I don't care. Open world's fine. I mean, like, traditional in the sense that, like, you collect items and you go to dungeons and, you know, you follow.
I think you can have that. You can do that in the open world. I do think that'll come back. Traditional dungeons will come back. They're going to do it. I mean, it's just a natural progression for them to make. I think they're going to make traditional dungeons again.
I hope so.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen.
Okay.
And I think we're going to get 2D Zeldas and you're going to get like your dungeon love for there too. Like,
yeah, I love 2D top-down Zeldas. Like that's my favorite.
And I guarantee you, I want to say guarantee. I would predict by the end of the Switch 2's life cycle, there's a multiplayer Zelda game. For sure. There's going to be some sort of, you know, 4 swords thing, something like that. They'll do something like that.
Do you think there's going to be a new top-down Zelda that's not a remake?
I do think a remake makes sense, but
someday.
Yes, they're gonna do that. Yep. I was actually surprised it didn't happen already, because I thought for sure the Link's Awakening like engine was built for that. Like you can see it in it. It's like, yeah, they're redoing assets, redoing an engine so they can bring more 2D games.
I feel like that's what will get me excited again.
And if they redid the Oracle games in that style, even though it's a remake, like those are like, for a lot of people, that's going to be a brand new game they've never experienced before. And if you update the graphics in that way, even for people that have experience before, it's going to be totally different than before. You know, like that's a new game, right?
I just feel like it's maybe, I don't know, something's wrong with me because I feel like it's been so long, so many years since like I've like seen an announcement and gotten like genuinely like super, oh my God, this is brand new. I don't know what to expect. Like, super excited counting down the days.
You were like, super excited for Tears of the Kingdom.
I know, but that's different because I already kind of knew what, you know, going into it, what we'd be getting.
I got you. You just need that Switch 2 Zelda hype trailer. Yeah. Of a game that doesn't exist. They hit you with some lightning bolt. And you're like, oh my God, look at Link.
Like, I think the last time I felt like drooling waiting for a game to come out was Animal Crossing. Like, I don't think post-pandemic I've felt that.
Interesting. Yeah, mine's definitely been Hellblade. Like at top of my, I can't wait to play it. And the new Assassin's Creed game, I'm like kind of fucking over the moon for. So, but I get you. Yeah, hopefully they'll have something in this trailer for you, I guess. Or the Switch 2 announcement. If I had to guess though, I think remakes are what's going to be happening for the next couple of years. If I had to guess. I don't know what they are, but I have to think Wind Waker and Twilight shows up at some point.
Well, listen, this is a good segue into the next question. Ryan asked, realistically, what do you think Nintendo will present at next month's Direct?
Yeah, I mean, I think those other games could show up at some point. And just before we leave it, I mean, you've got the Oracle games and you've got Link Between Worlds, and those are easy things to look at in terms of remakes. I think they will eventually come up at some point. Realistically, the next Direct, huh? Okay, so rumors are Prime 4. If you include the Zeldas, the 3D ports of the Zeldas, those have been long rumored. And then there's been a long rumor of like a Mario baseball game, right? Is that the one?
What?
There's a lot of people thinking that Camelot's working on a baseball game, Mario Baseball Sluggers.
Okay.
So maybe. I think those are the rumors. I think all of those are somewhat believable and could happen. You could get, I say a Kirby in quotes, like one of those sorts of games from them, a Chibi Robo, a Yoshi, a Kirby or something. I don't know if they have another party game in the mix. I think they've kind of got all those out of the way. They've done Warrior, they've done Mario Party, they've done Clubhouse. I don't know if they have like a party game they could get out there and throw out there. I don't know. I don't think we're getting a Star Fox game. It doesn't look like there's anything Donkey Kong on the horizon for this Direct. There's no rumors to suggest. So, yeah, I think maybe some smaller games, maybe some ports. I would like them to have like some more of their indie-style games, like the Kirby's Dream Buffet and the Pokemon Rumble. And so, like, it'd be cool to have a couple of those. And I think third parties, indie exclusives and third-party support. So you can get a couple ports over, try to fill out the calendar that way. They're launching a system. As great as it is, I even think there's a part of me that thinks the idea of getting a port of a Zelda game, let alone two, is asking for too much because they are on the heels of launching another system. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm a little scared to ask for
more. Yeah. I think you're right.
That's why I keep thinking the little indie stuff. And somebody in the chat, brings up the Prime remakes or remasters like 2 and 3. Like, sure, stuff like that. I could see stuff like that.
Drew says, with iOS finally relenting to allow emulation apps on its store, do you think we'll ever see game systems like PlayStation or Switch with emulators? That is very timely because they just put out an emulator for the PS1 on iOS. It's called Gamma. So you can play PS1 games on.
Yeah, RetroArch just came to iOS.
Yeah, which has everything.
I want to answer the question. Did you see the Delta stuff?
With the logo?
Yeah.
I opened my phone and I looked at it. I'm like, is my emulator sick?
I love that they were like, we've been sued, but not by what you think. They were being sued by Adobe. Adobe
was like,
that's our A. Logo. That's so ridiculous. Delta is like a 1,000-year-old symbol.
So the Delta symbol looks a little different than the logo. I think if they had just connected it and made it a triangle, it would have been fine, but they were like smart asses about it and like made it all broken and jumbled. It's like really funny looking. I'm sure they'll probably come out with like a new logo, but that's a pretty funny joke.
I think you should change the logo, but do it in all Adobe's colors. just like really,
do like a mirror image of it or something.
The exact same shade.
Or upside down.
Yeah, that's what I would do. That's crazy. Yeah. It's interesting.
Nobody
this
was
is a good
mistaking
question
it for Adobe.
This is a good question because no, I don't believe that emulators are going to come to the Switch or the PlayStation. They will fight tooth and nail to do that. But there is something to be said. Like the reason this is happening on iOS is that Apple's walled garden and their control is falling. It's crumbling under the weight of antitrust challenges. And I do wonder if a console could ever get there. I don't think so, but like, I think PC is what would keep any of this at bay. But like, it is an interesting thought process because the parallel, if you draw that line, you could say like, hey, you not allowing an app to exist on your store is antitrust and anti-competitive, and you can make that case. I just don't think it would win right now because a judge could easily say, well, if you want that, you have an open system platform available to do that. Mm-hmm. Right? That's the problem is the phone. We don't. the phone, they're so ubiquitous. Apple is such a foothold. That's why it matters, because nobody else can compete with them. Whereas you could just get a Steam Deck or a PC or an Ally. There's 1,000 options to do this.
I don't think either of those companies would want that on their store either, because it's directly against their, you know.
Can you imagine a Nintendo emulator on Nintendo Switch?
Nobody would pay for Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't expect that to happen.
Okay, last question. F2P Joe.
This is Free to Play Joe. He asked, so this question came in 2 weeks ago. If you want to save it, we can, because he asked it on PSVG, so I know he wants to hear from Delvin. So do you want to save it until Delvin comes back? But he specifically asked for us to ask on both shows, PSVG and Shaq.
And you didn't answer it on the other show yet?
We haven't talked about it because we've been waiting for Delvin to come back.
Okay, we'll save it.
Okay. Well, that does it.
End it on a cliffhanger for our listeners.
Dun, dun, dun.
Tune in the future show to see that question, to hear that question. Yeah, that's a good show, even though we didn't have a lot of news. I'm going to be playing a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to be playing a little bit more of the Splatfest before it ends tonight. Going to finish up Paper Trail, a little bit Kitty Big City, a couple of these other indies that I have looming over me before Paper Mario comes out. And then I'm sure we'll talk about our first impressions with Paper Mario.
I'm just playing Hyrule Warriors over here. You've got a bunch of games.
Yeah, no, I have more games than I'm able to play. So we'll see how much of it I get done. So yeah, we'll see you next time. Have a good week, Koopalings.
Whenever you're ready. See ya.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening. And I forgot the line already. What?